What is going on, guys? Ultimate Deadpool here, back with another video. Finally, it is time to finally say officially, as if you couldn't tell by my community post earlier, I have quit my second job that I had, just because there was too many things just getting in the way at home, and I just really don't have time to do that stuff at night. Plus, it was just all it was doing was killing my truck and, giving me lack of sleep and everything else in between. So we figured it was my best interest to go ahead and stop that second job. But I'm not giving up on my other idea for it. But as of right now, I am officially done with that second job. So we got a whole bunch of stuff to go into today. As you can tell, all the stuff in front of me. We'll go ahead and do the non-turtle stuff first, and then we'll go into the turtle stuff. I'm honestly considering rebranding this YouTube channel as the turtle channel, because I lately have just been doing nothing but turtle videos, and people have seemed okay with it. But there's also, the sprinkle of Deadpool stuff here and there that everybody goes bonkers for. So, without further ado, let's get right into things. Okay, I know it's no longer Christmas, but that doesn't mean it's not the season, if that makes any sense whatsoever. Some people will get that joke, others will not. So, we've got Santa Claus Freddy Fazbear. Now, I don't know why this is a thing. I mean, I get it. It's a Christmas thing, and everything does. Almost every franchise does a Christmas special, whatever it is. And the fact to have Freddy Fazbear, Santa Claus, it's like, dude, come on. You've gotta do that. Especially since I can use these as decorations every year. And use them for Christmas-themed videos and stuff like that. So it actually works out. I went ahead and put 2 holes in his feet so they can stand on these base plates, like I did with the tie-dye characters. The only reason I did not review these in this video is because they already appeared in the Deadpool trailer for the FNAF crossover thing, which I'm still waiting on the official ones. They are supposed to be here by at least February, so hopefully you guys don't lose interest on the Deadpool versus Five Nights at Freddy's crossover thing that I have planned. A lot of you guys seem to enjoy that trailer that I made. Link is in the description below or on the channel feed if you wanted to check it out. It's about 45 seconds long, give or take. And it's just a small bit of what hopefully the humor that series is going to bring is going to be about, obviously, at least 5 parts, because you have to have 5 nights. So, anyway. So, in terms of design, I think this actually works really well. I do like the rosy cheeks and stuff. The black dots are replaced with red. He also has a red nose and a red ear thing. The sandal mold, I think, looks really nice. The boots look really good. All in all, really good thing. He does not come with any accessories. The only one that does is Bonnie, and we'll get to him in a little bit. I do like the jingle bell on the Santa hat. So I'd have to get, and I love the bow tie. You gotta love the bow tie on Santa Freddy as well. So I'm gonna give this figure a solid 10 out of 10. It's pretty for a Christmas crossover with a weird, gaming franchise. I think it's actually pretty good. I like this. It's going to be used every year as a decoration, so on to the next thing. Okay, now we have Bonnie the Elf. I almost put a Will Ferrell meme as the beginning intro for this video, or for a past video when it was actually, Christmas time with this guy, but I'm saving that for next year. So, Bonnie the Elf. Okay, out of all the characters I thought Bonnie would be, I did not picture an elf. I know there's also an Easter Bunny version. The posability, just like all these things, is really well. The arm joints suck, however, because, they're just, the ball joints never really work correctly, but see, just like that. But in terms of design-wise, I think Elf Bonnie is a really fun idea. I like the little elf hat that he's got. He also, for some reason, has a tail. I don't remember Bonnie actually having a tail on any version of Five Nights at Freddy's, but I don't get into the backstory. I just, play the game every now and then. The design for the upper body is pretty decent. I like the bow tie as well. And the same thing as Freddy, he's got the little cheek things. And he comes with a candy cane for some reason. And me and my brother did a joke of him using it as a knife, trying to stab Santa Freddy in the back. The elf shoes, I think, are fun. Really fun addition, and just like Freddy, I went ahead and put holes into the bottom of his feet so he can stand up with no big deal, and still be able to use him for future videos. And just like Santa Freddy, he will be used as a decoration every year. So I'm going to give him a solid 10 out of 10. I like the fact that he comes with a candy cane. I wish, Santa Freddy did something similar, but you know what? It is what it is. So let's move on. Okay, next up, arguably the most weird and out there, confusing, for me at least, Christmas crossover anything. Snowman Chica. Okay? So, in terms of design, I like it. I think it's fun, having the snow packed on the wood, being able to hide the robotic joints out of wood, the boots, with the wooden sticks and whatnot, I think it's fun. The coals for the buttons, and the eyes, and the leaves for the eyebrows and stuff, and the carrot as a beak. I think that's fun. This Chica does not come with a cupcake, which I'm surprised. You would think they would have given it a snowball or something. But that's alright. Gloves look really good. I like the melting effect kind of they give it up here and here, and around. The scarf looks really nice. I think this is actually these are older figures, so that's why this looks a little bit more yellowed than it probably should. But, these were ordered on eBay. What do you want me to do? So in terms of design and whatnot, I think this is probably one of the most unique versions of Chica out there. Does not beat the Statue of Liberty one, but that's just me. But definitely a fun version. Just like everything else, I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. This is such a fun thing. It's such a fun concept. And you know what? Why the hell not? So, and the fact that it's got coals for eyes, just every time I look at this, I think of Frosty the Snowman song, and two eyes made out of coal and whatnot. So, fun addition. Definitely using it every year as a decoration for Christmas. Let's move on. Okay, before anybody says anything, yes, I am fully aware that there's a Nutcracker version of Foxy as well. I did not get that one only because I like the Gingerbread Man Foxy better. And there's no point in having two different Foxies when you have the other four. I wish they had turned, Springtrap into the Nutcracker, but you know what? I'm not going to be here nor there. So just like everybody else, Foxy gets a fun Christmas adaptation, and I think it's brilliant that they used a gingerbread. Because it's funny how you have the eye patch as the little lollipop candy, and just the overall design where it's outlining itself with the icing, I think is so fun. The hook being a candy cane is brilliant. The little red buttons and stuff for his gingerbread buttons. The red for the toes, the green for the pants and everything. I think this is just such a fun thing. I do wish they had done a little bit more with it, but I mean, it's gingerbread, so there's not a whole lot more you can do with it. But I do think I have a defective one because the hand doesn't really turn forwards all that well. I'm afraid if I do it too much, it's going to snap. So at the moment, he's kind of like limp-handed, which is not a big deal. These Christmas characters are not really going to be used for a whole lot of videos. They'll probably only be used for like one or two Christmas specials, and that's about it. Other than that, they're just going to be used for around my house for personal Christmas decorations and stuff like that. But all in all, I don't know. I think it's fun. So far, I'm digging these a lot more than the tie-dye characters, because the tie-dye characters, they were just the mold and then molded in tie-dye. There was no prints on them whatsoever. It was none of this was here. It was all molded, but it wasn't actually printed. And it looks off-putting on the tie-dye characters, but these, I'm so glad that they actually did that. or actually gave them the designs and stuff that they require. So like for Foxy's instance, they could have just easily have done, this is brown, this is brown, this is brown, this is brown, instead and green, instead of, molding it to, it's still there, but we're gonna go a little step further and add the black and the gray and all that to make it look more like an animatronic. I like that. So props go to the Funko. Let's move on to turtle characters now. So if you guys do not or are sick and tired of turtle videos and stuff like that, click off this video now. Otherwise, stay tuned. Starting off with Raphael from the Last Ronin comic book. I actually had no idea that the NECA guys were actually doing this. I did hear some rumblings that they were going to make the Last Ronin turtles, but I'm like, wait a minute. Do they not remember that all the turtles die and that's why there's only one left? But then I actually saw this pull up in stores and whatnot, and I'm like, you know what? This is fun. And I think they're actually making a battle damaged version of Raphael where he's got blood and stuff all over him and arrows and stuff in his bag, which I think is just wrong and funny at the same time. But, I mean, in terms of design, I don't really remember what Raphael looked like off the top of my head. I'm assuming it looked exactly like this because, duh, this is the Last Ronin Raphael. But, I mean, it looks good. It does. I'm not going to lie. I love the comic book look of it. That's one of the things I gave so much props to with the Fugitoid and the Utrom NECA figures that I found a couple months ago. I love the comic book aspect that they gave it. It looks 2D, but it's 3D. And that's exactly what they did here. The black outlines just make everything look so much better. The just simple black, literally just the simple black lines around it to make it look like it's a 2D character just makes everything a world of difference. They could have easily have done something different and it would have looked completely weird and stupid. He is definitely bulky. I do not remember Raphael being this bulky in any version of the Turtles except for that god-awful Rise of the Ninja Turtles shit. And obviously that stupid Mutant Mayhem crap, which I still have not seen and I refuse to see because I absolutely just hated the designs of those characters and the voice actors that they chose for the Turtles. And because of that, I absolutely refuse to watch the Mutant Mayhem movie. I will probably eventually watch it at some point, but not for a very, very, very long time. And the animation style, I hate it. It's the same thing as Into the Spider-Verse, and I absolutely hate it. So, anyway, the armor for this guy looks really cool. You can actually stick his size in the back of his pouches right there. He's got some more pouches and stuff on his belt. I'm assuming a bulletproof vest, even though in some versions of Michael Bay, they are actually bulletproof. I will say I'm a little surprised that they remolded his size, because if you remember, when they made the Last Ronin figure, they gave him Raphael's size, and they did not look like this. Now, obviously, since, Raphael was, drowned in the bottom of the river and whatnot with Karai, even though he's a freaking turtle, turtles shouldn't be able to drown, his size went missing, so in order to, I guess, honor Raphael, Michelangelo probably just went out and got more size. But we'll ignore that fact. The shines themselves are pretty flimsy, actually. They're a lot skinnier than the other ones are. So, very fragile, and I think I have a defective one because his upper half kind of wiggles a bit. But I'm hoping, now that I actually know that they're going to do all four pre-Last Ronin stuff, Turtles, at some point, hopefully I will get all four of them, and then I can add those guys to my whole Leonardo multiversal, whatever the hell you want to call it, thing in the future. So, in terms of design, and in terms of quality and everything else, I've got to give this a solid 9 out of 10. The only reason why I'm not giving it a 10 out of 10 is because I don't know why they gave Raphael mismatching size. I'm surprised that they didn't give him the Last Ronin size from the Last Ronin figure. But, the box art, which I don't have the box on me right now, that's why it's not up here. It was cool. It's got the Last Ronin stuff all over it. They don't actually tell you who the Last Ronin is, which I think is kind of fun. So for people who wanted to read the book but have not actually read the books yet, they still get to have the surprise of, oh, who's the last Ronin, instead of it getting spoiled for them. So, yeah, not bad. Let's move on. Okay, this was another thing I had no idea that the NECA guys were doing. I thought they were only making the 4 Universal Monster Turtles, and then, Casey Jones, April O'Neil, and Master Splinter, as all of which are as Universal Monsters, and then they were going to be done. But it seems like they are going with a second wave of figures. There is now Leonardo as the creature from the Black Lagoon, and I think there's also Raphael as the Wolfman, I believe. I think that's what's out now. So I'm anxious to see what they do with Michelangelo and Donatello, if they decide to give them a second variation of Universal Monsters. I will say I do love this figure. This is probably one of my favorite versions of Leonardo in terms of what NECA has done so far. Just simply on how detailed this stuff gets, because this is ridiculous. This is so cool. As always, he comes with different hands, and even the hands, if you look, I don't know if you can see it inside on the camera, but inside his hands right there, there's a lot of copper looking colored pieces molded into his hands, and it goes through there, and all the scaling and the texture behind the net and whatnot. Even the details on the net, where you have fish hooks here, the bobber fishing thing there, some more fish hooks, the freaking skeleton of a fish right there. You got the bobber thing there, and even his swords I think are so fun because they're spears, like fishing spears. And you have a fish already impaled on one of them. The feet look really cool. The fins on the legs, the fins on the back of the legs. They went all out with this thing, and I'm so happy that they did that. Then for some reason they gave him this bone shredder claw looking thing. So, and then his face looks a little weird, but you know what? It's supposed to mimic a turtle fish, so I'm okay with that. And then he also has sharp toes. So, but yeah, I mean, this is a freaking awesome figure, and I cannot wait until they do the remaining 3. I do know that they have at least, I think it's Raphael as the Wolfman, which I'm hoping to track down at some point. And if they do 2 more for Donatello and Michelangelo, you better bet your ass they're going to be added to my collection of Ninja Turtle weirdness, because these are probably some of the best figures that the NECA guys have done, just because of simply how detailed and how crazy and outlandish they get. So if I did not give this figure 10 out of 10, I don't know what else deserves a freaking 10 out of 10. Because this is awesome. I hope they keep making stuff like this. Okay, so to go in style with the 2003 custom NECA Shredder that I did earlier this week, or this past week, whatever you want to call it, which is going to be now the permanent Shredder, because I actually have the paint sealed, so I can actually move it around and whatnot, and it's not going to flake off or rub off or anything like that. So this is going to be the permanent design of Shredder in my action figure videos moving forward, mostly because I don't have a small Shredder. Actually, I do have a small Shredder. It's the Mega Block Shredder. He's in my drawer somewhere. Anyway, so this is the Shredder design moving forward, and before anybody asks, yes, his mask does come off to reveal a deformed 1987 Shredder head. I had to literally strip the entire Shredder helmet off just so it would fit, and the only reason I did that is because I didn't feel like molding a head that would fit on the neck mold that came with the 1987 Shredder. So, anyway, so that paint's all sealed, but the reason I brought this guy out was not to show him off again, but Playmates has done re-releases of the 2003 TMNT action figures. And for me, growing up with these 4 figures as a kid, the nostalgic trip that I took when I saw these things in store for the first time. I saw them all over the internet, and I'm like, there's no way they would re-release those. There's no freaking way. And they freaking did. I actually saw these in the store at Walmart, and I'm like, dude, this was my childhood. This was literally everything to me as a kid. Like, I cannot tell you how many times I would have these 4 figures in my hands, like, every day. I kid you not. I had an entire tub full. Let me rephrase that. I have an entire tub full of 2003 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle action figures from when I was a kid. Now, obviously, these are the re-releases because they are still in the box, and these particular 4 are going to stay in their box. But the box art looks exactly like it did in 2003. Like, they did not change anything. But you can tell a difference because if you look on the back, it does say, at nick.com/Playmates Toys, Playmates Toys on Facebook and YouTube. And then it also says 2003 Viacom Overseas Holding, all rights reserved, blah, 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 blah. So this is a re-release. This is something you can actually get in stores. I got mine at my local Walmart, or one of my local Walmarts. I think Target also carries these. But what's funny is the same Walmart I got these things from is the same Walmart that I got my last 2003 Ninja Turtle action figures almost 20 years ago. So I just think that's so funny that the last Walmart store that I got figures like this, I actually get them back almost 20 years later. So that was fun. But it's just there's just something about these for me that is just so nostalgic, and they were so fun. Hold on. That I went ahead and got another set of 4. These are the re-releases. So these things that I'm putting on the desk right now are the exact same thing that are in the boxes. These are not the original 2003 figures that I had in my turtle tub, because those have been well played with and they are a lot more beat up than these things are. So I went ahead and got 4 more 2003 re-releases just so I could review them out of the box, use them for videos out of the box, and still have some in the box for my own nostalgic pleasure. Because these things are actually really cheap. They're like $10. Yeah, you can get each one for $10, $40 for all 4. That's actually a really good deal. So I cannot tell you how nostalgic this particular part of this episode for me is, because growing up with these things as a kid, these 4 figures right here, not these exact ones, but they were basically the exact same thing. I remember seeing these things as a kid in the boxes, brand new in 2004, 2005. These things were on the shelves, and man, I was having a blast. Every time we went to Walmart, I would beg my parents to get me a new Ninja Turtle toy. And sometimes I won, sometimes I did not. More or less, I did not win. But I kid you not, I had almost every single 2003 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle action figure, mech, vehicle, robot, transformer, whatever. I had almost every single 2003's action figure and toy at that time. And I still have quite a few of them in a tub. But some of them were not built better than others, and they decided to die. And the ones that died got thrown away a long time ago when I was a kid. It killed me then, and it still kills me now. There is one elusive figure that I still cannot track down from one particular episode series, but it is what it is. So anyway, I'm rambling on. So these 4 out of the box figures right now are going to be appearing in the Leonardo Time and Space, whatever the hell, multiversal video shit you want to call it, so that way I can finally do a 2003's Ninja Turtles universe video correctly. So, but these are, identical, like almost like they went back in time to 2003, pulled them off the shelves, and then brought them into 2023. That's seriously what these things are. That's why they call them re-releases or reissues, whatever you want to call them. So even all the weird imperfections that they had back in 2003 are back into this. So like Donatello, with his foot bent upwards slightly like this, he actually doesn't really stand up correctly by himself, which is exactly what the 2003's actual figure does. And he's a real pain in the ass to actually get to stand up correctly. The bend in the bow staff, that's like common with every single Donatello, but especially in the early 2000s, Donatello's bow staff was never straight. Even the belt molds are the same. So there's a small little like button or whatever that you push in, and that's what holds the belt on. You can put the belt in, or put the bow staff in the back of the belt through that little hole there. So I mean, these are like literally this is basically what my childhood was. All these 4 characters right here. You know, Michelangelo's the same way. You know, because of his feet the way they are, their feet were for some reason they molded them with their legs like this instead of having them being straight and posable. There were some that were posable, but they were like, you know, I think Battle Action, Michelangelo, Raphael, Donatello, and so on and so forth. But those were extremely hard to find even back then. Michelangelo's belt has the same thing. You can fold the nunchucks in half like that and slide them into his belt back here. But I mean, these are freaking gorgeous, dude. I cannot believe that Playmates actually brought these things back from basically the dead 20 years later, almost to the day. Because fun fact, in 2003, when the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4Kids television show started, it started around like I think this like maybe June or July of it was that summer of 2003. I think if I'm not mistaken, that's what it was. So in like the summer of 2003, the show started. Well, they weren't going to have product of the figures out until around October or November, which is exactly when these re-releases were brought back to store shelves almost 20 years to the day that the original ones actually came out. And these were the first 4 figures that Playmates did back in 2003 when they first launched the brand for the 4Kids show back in 2003. So the fact that they did that exact same date, or close to that exact same date, at that exact same 20 years to the day, or to the month at least, I think that's awesome. And it just shows you how much Playmates and the, you know, team at Ninja Turtle companies and whatnot actually do care about the 2003 show, because I still hear from a lot of hardcore fans that this is the dominant version of Ninja Turtles and by far the best version of Ninja Turtles in any form of media. So, well, mostly because it's as comic book accurate as we can get. So the suction cups on Leonardo here, I don't remember him coming with suction cups, but you know, I'm pretty sure it's the exact same. These are basically the exact same suction cups that he came with, or that they had back in 2003. These are a lot stronger than the ones that are from 2003 because they are, you know, not 20 plus years old. But like I was saying, even the imperfections that these things had are still there. Like Leonardo's belt strap over here is 2 pieces. There's a spot right here that his belt fits into, and then there's a spot up here that his sheaths fit into. And if you wanted to have it just right to where it's right here, it almost pops this out every single time. And I think that is so awesome that they included that minor production flaw. 20 years later, they still have that, and I'm so happy that they do that. Oddly enough, it's a small minor flaw that drove my mom nuts as a kid, only because I would always take it to her to fix it, and like every other minute or every like 5-10 minutes, Leonardo's strap was always coming off, and it was so fun. So moving on to Raphael. Now, I think my version of Raphael has probably had my original Raphael before the re-release has probably had the most abuse out of all of the turtles that I've had, only because Raphael was always the character I was beating up, and I don't know why. but his bandana was like ripped. I have one where his bandana's ripped off, his belt's all shredded, his chest is all beat up. It's like I was mean to Raphael as a kid, and I'm like, I don't know why. But his size look exactly the same. I don't remember his bandana being that much off-centered. I remember it being closer to the back because all of them had them like directly in the back of his heads. But, I mean, it's not that big of a deal. I do also think that it's one of those stupid little flaws that 2003's figures did. But in order to put the size away, you have to bend the blade of the main sai through the piece like that, just so it can be in his arms. And even then, he can't really. The more you push down on his arm to have it straight like that, the more it freaking kills the weapon. And they're constantly being bent like that. So again, it's one of those little imperfections that I remember from 2003 when they first released these things. And the fact that they kept those imperfections 20 years later just makes me feel so much. I literally feel like a big ass kid right now. So I'm so happy with that. Playmates brought the 2003's Ninja Turtles back as a classics reissue line, because if you open the box behind the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles logo, it does say 2003 Classic. So I'm so happy that Playmates brought these things back, and I hope that they can be used in future videos. That's pretty much it for this video. I wanted to save these guys for last because I knew they were going to take the longest. So like I said, these are not the original 2003 characters or action figures that I had from 2003. I do still have them somewhere in my turtle tub from 2003, but they are way more beat up than these things are. I just opened these out of the box yesterday, and I have 8 re-releases of all 4 turtles, just because I have 2 in the box, or 4 in the boxes that are never going to get opened, and 4 outside of the box for video purposes. So, anyway, that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will catch you guys all later on Ultimate Deadpool. Peace out. You guys are awesome. I'll catch you guys all later. Bye.